over 20 years ago, since you founded this company. And if we look on the journey up until now, it's over 200 really critical, business critical customer projects. It's global brands like Jaguar Land Rover, ThyssenKrupp Elevators, ABB. If you think about the starting point, could you ever imagine that?
I think at the time when we started back in 2000, it was at the time of the IT bubble. And there was a feeling in the industry that everything was possible. I'm not sure we had in mind that this was how it was going to end up. I think we're pretty naive, optimistic you can call it. And I think that's an important ingredient when you want to build a company.
But it's still a fantastic journey. Now, there must have been a kind of a moment in time when you sat down and you said, I think we have something here. There's something that we could bring to the market. It's not just studies or research. There's something in this.
In the late 90s, we came across this interesting problem of configuring complex products. So I remember we were exposed to the problem. We had, there might be another way of solving that. Then we could see other people were solving it. But we got busy with other things. I had it on a shelf for a while. And then in '99, we had the chance to get access to some test data, some really complicated problems with configurable problems. And we had a student just finishing, and we talked with him, Anders Rasmussen, who's still in Configit. Why don't we try it out? This idea we have some new algorithms called virtual tabulation today. Why don't we try them out on these very challenging examples? And to our positive surprise, the algorithms worked extremely well. So we kind of had a hunch. The internet was booming. You're going to sell configurable products over the internet. You need some good tech to make that happen. So now might be the time to try it out. So we were fortunate that 3 students want to join us and start working on Configit.
Fantastic story and a fascinating story. But there's also moving from a great idea, doing this thing that you explained with the test data, to actually making someone to pay for it.
Yeah.
So first customer, and that's usually a very difficult thing to do. So what happened?
And I remember the first customer was a Danish company called Danfoss, doing cooling equipment. And they struggled for some time to find a good solution to how they could configure their cooling devices. We managed to set up a meeting at the Danfoss headquarters, and they had this problem they've really been fighting with. They couldn't figure out how to handle these complicated rules in their systems. And they put up a couple of examples of something that's been really challenging for them. And during the meeting, Henrik took our tool up and coded up the rules and demonstrated how it would work. And we basically sold our solution on that meeting. And that's one of the great moments in learning and how you can show value to a customer. And I think we have taken that with us, and that's still how we like to do it.
Seeing is believing is actually a motto we've had for a long time, that give us your data and we show you what we can do with it. And I think that was the first example of that. But we've done that many, many times, showing what we can do with the data. That's normally very convincing, much more convincing than showing some demo with some other person's data. I think we also were lucky to find a person at Danfoss who was very visionary. I mean, remember we were 2 guys in a truck, or, small company, no customer references or anything, hardly a product, but they were very visionary in the way that they wanted to run a configuration solution on these handheld devices. I forgot what they were called, compacts or little, not very powerful devices, but we managed to get our software to run on those, and then they link it up to their cooling controllers, and you could configure them from this device.
20 years has passed, and I only been here for a year. I can share one of the memorable moments I had was when you and me, Henrik, we were on a call with one of our major customers, and they basically said that the way we do business today wouldn't have been possible without Configit technology, and I think that's the best thing. And I'm sure you've had some great memorable moments over the year. Can you share some?
There have been many. I would still say a real key turning point was when we won the Jaguar Land Rover deal. And again, it all came down, there was a lot of work in that, a lot of meetings, and we had to travel over there many times. We were still a small company. But the moment where we actually, again, demonstrated our software with their data to this broader audience where the top management was present, and they were just blown away. They could suddenly see their configurators that were traditionally had been sort of locked into an old Sun machine. We ran it on an iPad, and they were just blown away that was even possible. And I think we just, again, we knew we had won the deal at that point, I think.
So, just to sum it up, these 20 years, what's your, learning experiences and things that you learned over these years? What would that be?
I've never learned so much in my life than over these 20 years, and I've been going to school for 20 years. I was at the university. I think the fascinating thing about being part of a company growing up is that there are so many different challenges over the years and things you experience and learnings you have, and you have the opportunity to try out different things. And I think the thing that, looking back, I would never have imagined that what we had as a little goodie back then could actually provide so much value for the biggest companies in the world. I still have to, think about that now and then, and I'm very happy that I've been on a journey where that was possible, because I never imagined.
I certainly second that. Seeing a company grow initially, I remember when we printed our own business cards out in the printer and laminated them ourselves, right, and things like that. Didn't have any money, and as you grow, of course, you get more and more people to help you in different functions, but it's never been boring. We always learn something new, I think, as we go along. I think there are two things I really have appreciated. It is working as a team, unlike often when you're in academia, where you're very individualistic. This teamwork and working with people who are smarter than myself, really have this team around me where people are just engaged and smart, but also solving real problems. That's been the other one. It's so much more interesting to me, at least, to find actual problems at customers and try to solve those, and then sit at a desk and trying to invent a problem and then try to invent the solution for it.
I didn't know of, when I signed up for this job, how good people were at this particular industry, but it's amazing. I knew that I was going to work with some really smart people, but not how smart they were, and the kind of problems they sort out for customers, which is, as you said, you want to work with the best.